This video will show you how to replace the control unit and recoil in your Champion 2000 watt inverter. Always turn off your engine and let it completely cool before working on your unit. Remove the 3 screws on the top of the oil fill side panel with a Phillips screwdriver. Remove the panel and disconnect the spark plug cap, and always leave it disconnected when working on your unit. Step 1. Using a Phillips screwdriver, remove the 4 screws holding on the front panel. With a 10mm socket, remove the 3 black bolts across the bottom of the side panel, as well as the 1 silver bolt in the middle of the side panel. Then with a Phillips screwdriver, remove the 3 screws on the top handle. Remove the 6 screws on the rear panel to remove the rear panel, and remove the 3 screws on the top of the other side panel. Step 2. Remove the 2 Phillips screws behind the recoil handle, and collapse the recoil handle through the hole in the panel to fully remove the side panel. Then with the 10mm socket, remove the 3 black bolts across the bottom of the side panel, as well as the 1 silver bolt in the middle of the side panel. Step 3. Remove the fuel cap and rubber sleeve. Then remove the small Phillips screw that holds the 2 side panels together and replace the fuel cap to avoid any spills. Then carefully remove both black side panels and make sure the fuel tank stays in place. Step 4. Reposition the front panel to access the 2 bolts holding on the control unit, 1 on each side, and remove them using an 8mm socket. Then locate the large wire connector on the right side of the control unit. This must be disconnected first to remove the control unit. Step 5. Lift the control unit out of the inverter housing and reposition it to access the wire connectors. Disconnect all wire connectors from the control unit, and you may need to clip a few cable ties to access all the wire connectors. With all wires disconnected, you can remove your control unit. If you are replacing your control unit, you can skip to Step 8. Step 6. Reposition the front panel to access the recoil, and remove the 2 recoil bolts using a 10mm socket. If you have a dual fuel unit, remove the propane inlet bracket by removing the 2 bolts holding it in place with an 8mm socket. Then reposition the bracket to access the 3rd bolt, and remove it with a 10mm socket, which will allow you to fully remove the old recoil. Step 7. Make sure the new recoil can build tension. Place it into the unit in the correct orientation, and replace and tighten all 3 bolts with a 10mm socket. Then replace the propane inlet bracket and tighten the 2 bolts with an 8mm socket. Step 8. Reconnect all wire connectors back to the control unit, except for the large 3-prong connector at the corner. Then set the control unit in place, making sure not to pinch any wires, and align it with the bolt holes. Then reconnect the remaining wire connector, replace the 2 control unit bolts, and tighten them with an 8mm socket. Now follow these steps to reassemble your unit. Replace the rubber sleeve around the fuel cap, and replace the 2 black side panels, making sure that the tabs on the sides of the fuel tank align with the slots on the inside of the panels. Align the 2 panels correctly in the rubber sleeve, and tighten 1 handle screw to help keep the panels in place. Replace the 3 black bolts along the bottom of the side panel, and replace the 1 silver side panel bolt. And repeat this for the other side, making sure the panels lock into place. Replace the rear panel and tighten the 6 Phillips screws. Snap the front panel back into place and tighten the 4 Phillips screws. Then replace the remaining handle screws. Replace the side panel, pull the recoil handle through the hole in the panel, secure the 2 recoil screws, and secure that panel into place with the 3 Phillips screws across the top. Replace the small black screw underneath the rubber sleeve, reconnect the spark plug cap, and lastly, replace the side panel and secure with the 3 Phillips screws. Your control unit and recoil replacement is complete. Always follow the safety guidelines in your operator's manual, and for more help guides, visit the Champion Help Center at help.championpowerequipment.com.